You are too. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Hello, everybody. We'll be starting our webinar promptly at 1 o'clock. Please do your best in terms of if you have questions, go ahead and post them in the Q&A section. If we have time at the end of the webinar, we will answer that. If not, you can always reach out to SCORE or the presenter for that additional information that you might require. Please take a minute and we will start promptly at 1 o'clock.
Yes, thank you for joining us all. This is Leticia, and we will have a wonderful webinar at in about 5 more minutes. Thank you for joining us, and Liz Harsh will be our speaker this afternoon. Thanks.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today. We'll be working on website search engine optimization revealed. We're going to talk about what you can do in terms of getting more traffic on your website, how to call more attention to your business, and just understanding the whole process of search engine optimization in today's environment. There's been some changes that we're going to talk about in terms of how AI has changed the search engine. um, platform and how you can kind of make sure you're part of the results on that platform, actions you can take that will make a difference, actions you can take that probably won't make a big difference. And, just talking generally speaking about how you can continue to grow your website traffic by utilizing the tools that are available to you today. So let's get started. My name is Liz Harsh, and I'll be teaching the class today. My company is Tailor Made Advertising in Torrance, California. Notice that I let you know all the ways you can connect up with me. So I'm giving you lots of choices in terms of that. I'm hoping that you're doing the same thing. So when you have an opportunity to introduce yourself, to work with new customers, to talk to even your past customers in terms of asking for those referrals, that you're letting them know that there's lots of ways they can communicate with you and you're monitoring those channels as well. So obviously, if you're going to advertise, you're going to be available through certain social media platforms or whatever. You want to make sure you are available through those, or just don't even list them so that people aren't asking you questions or trying to connect with you through platforms that you're not actually using. But for those that you are using, make it easy for them. Use QR codes, let people know how to connect up with you. And it really does help expand the number of ways and number of people that will do so. As we look at small businesses and we try to figure out what's the best ways that we can connect with folks, people are looking for businesses online all the time. They're using different queries than they did in the past. In the past, it was completely keyword dependent. So you just enter the keyword of whatever you're looking for, and you'd end up with a list of people in your area and beyond your area if you wanted to that fit that bill. Now, AI has stepped in and is looking at probable solutions to your queries based on your queries. People are using more words to describe what it is they're looking for so they get some more accuracy. So people are looking for businesses all the time, and businesses are growing, utilizing that online growth. So we want to make sure that you're doing the same. So how do people find you online? It can be anywhere from a keyword search for something that I'm looking for to seeing something that's a paid ad that comes across my mobile or my desktop, and I click on it to find out more about that. But using those keywords, making sure that your website is rich in those keywords and long-term searches is step number one that you want to think about. How can I make sure that I'm in that list? Going beyond keywords, though, and recognizing there's different ways people are querying now is part of what I want to talk to you about today. So when you start, search for your organization, search for your company or products that are the same products and services that you use, and note who shows up. Take a look at what they're doing, take a look at where they're showing up, because the referral site is often listed. And sometimes they're not showing up directly to their website. Sometimes it's through their social media platforms. Sometimes it's through something else. But note who's the keyword king in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. And make sure you're emulating that, or you try to understand why they would come up instead of your organization. You want to search for those generic terms in your organization. Definitely you want to see that you're coming up when people are searching for your company. If not, there may be a problem with your website where search engines are not able to access some additional information, data they're looking for in order to confirm you're a good site to go to for that. So you want to make a list of those results and see who's doing a good job, who's not doing a good job. And if your company's not doing a good job, it's time to get to work on doing a better job with that. So what is search engine optimization? There's multiple elements involved in that, okay? It's search engine that you're trying to do or accomplish. It might have to do with time management. It might be social media marketing. It might be site maps. So if you're set up your website and you're not clear if the website developer actually put a site map into your website development, you might be missing that. And that's just a map that shortcuts to the different pages on your website for certain keywords. So you want to make sure that was set up and is being used. That's when you actually end up with multiple referrals based on the different things that you say on different pages of your website. News feeds, whenever you have something like a blog or you're participatory in something like, I don't know, some type of a LinkedIn story or article, you want to make sure those news feeds are pointing to your website as well. And those links are articles that are existing on your website so that it's pointing traffic in the direction of a place where you own it, which is your website, versus the opposite, like pointing to a social media page, which you don't own. So I'm always wanting you to draw your traffic to your website, and specific pages would be different campaigns you do to get more traffic on those sites. Email marketing is another tool that can improve your search engine optimization because it will point more people to your website or your products and services that are referred to in your email. The more people that go to your website as a source of information, as a thought leader for the industry, the better those bot and algorithms are going to say, hey, this is a reliable site for us to point to. And all of that's also going to deal with ranking. So looking and seeing how you rank, if you rank, and who's ranking will give you some tips on how you can improve your ranking within your industry. Link building, when you have something that is pointing to your website through referral sites, or maybe you do a blog or an article for someone else or for an association and point that back to your website to see that article and what's been done, is definitely going to help bring more traffic to your website. Also, very important that your page quality on your website has been checked recently and is good. So this is something you can look at with your Google Analytics. You can check your website and see if you have a very high page quality. Part of the page quality is how fast does it load? Does it show those keywords? Did you address certain things that people are looking for? And looking and seeing who bounces out of your website will definitely teach you more about what's not working, which is people go to you, let's say, for a keyword, and they're not staying there. They bounce back to Google to ask for another opportunity or another um, website to look at because they didn't see the answer to their question on that page. People are very impatient now. They're very used to AI. So if you're not providing those frequently asked questions, and if you're not utilizing ads that highlight, hey, this is where you go to the answer to get the answer to that question, and then they go to your website and it's landing on a page with that answer, you're going to get a lot of bounces. And those bounces affect your page quality, which means Google will not be sending you those referrals because people bounce out too often. So you definitely want to look at all of those numbers just to evaluate how you're doing today. So there's homework on this project. Your marketing channel mix is definitely pointing traffic. Its goal is to point more traffic to your website and different pages based on different campaigns. So utilizing paid ads like online ads and retargeting display ads or search ads versus, or even ads that are designed for smart speakers versus, let's say, social media. Again, with your posts on social media and your information on social media, I always want you to point back to your website for answers to those questions and as a resource for individuals that are looking for information through those social media platforms. Same with reviews, search engine optimization, of course, being all of this, and website chat. So if you have a chat bot or something like that set up, make sure that it's pointing people to your website for a form or for your FAQs or for your information, maybe your blogs that are on your website, because that brings people over. One of the things that page quality measures is how long do people stay on your pages of your website. If your page quality is low because people go there, don't see the answer to what they're looking for and leave right away, or let's say they only spend 2 seconds on your website and go somewhere else, that's not going to give you the page quality or the algorithm numbers that you want to be able to continue to have a lot of referrals to your website. So that's an important measurement for you to take a look at. Again, reviews, people are looking at reviews, online listings like OpenTable or Angie's List or Yelp or whatever you do, making sure that it's pointing to the right page of your website where the answers to those categories is. So if you represent multiple products and services and people are reviewing you for one category, you want to make sure that that link goes to your, let's say, home improvement page or your decking page versus your kitchen page. So making sure that you've got the right links connected up so that when people get there, they don't bounce away because they've got content that they can relate to because that's what they were looking for. So content marketing is about creating content that gets people again to your website by using referral pages or landing pages like a blog or some type of a landing page for events or such. Podcasts are another way to point people to your website, making sure that when you set up your podcast information, it's referring to a specific page about the topic or what people are interested in learning through your podcast. And then you've got traditional marketing tools like print or radio or TV ads, and all of that should be referring people to your website, to specific pages on your website where they're going to get the answers they're interested in based on what that ad is promising. So, events and public relations, another way of taking landing pages and creating landing pages that will point to those pages on your website. So, um, and geographic fencing is identifying the areas and categories where it makes sense. So lots of times you have option in filters now where you can set filters for the parameters of where you do business. I highly recommend you do that. You do not need to be number one in Peoria if you don't sell in Peoria, right? You want to be number one in your neighborhood. This is where you want to think big fish, small pond, where your area that you're servicing is just big enough where you're going to be that kind of number one referral within that area, geographic area. And part of that is setting up what your geographic area is so that that helps those algorithms and AI know that you're relevant to this individual in their neighborhood. So in some ways, those filters can really help you if we think about it like that, right? Email marketing, again, as I mentioned, so all of these are pointing people in the direction of your website, and you need to pay attention to them. So Google has paid ads, they have organic results, and now they have AI summaries. So that's something to keep in mind. But they also still have your Google My Business page. If you have not filled that out, and you haven't added images, specials, keywords, long tail searches, information, and blogs that you're putting out there, you're probably not doing the most you can to rank high with Google because Google owns your Google My Business page. So they want you to utilize it. If you're not utilizing it, that might be the sweetest way or the shortest way to get more eyes on your business is to start using and claiming your Google My Business page. And that's also going to be integrated with your ads, or it should be, so that you have tied those algorithms together so that you've got more information for that. It also definitely ties in with the mapping results, and those mapping results are when people are looking for a local vendor. Reviews, Wikipedia, social media, all of these are part of your search results. So when they're pointing to your YouTube page or pointing to a listing that you have somewhere or your Wikipedia listing, again, that should then point them to your website. So if you have the opportunity to edit those pages or listings, do so. AI is changing those search results because it's basically creating summaries that you have no control over, right? And it's going to talk about whatever the query is. So when people ask these questions, they're what we call long tail searches. There are multiple words to try to narrow down the answers to the questions I'm specifically looking for. And so then Google's going to find a summary that provides the answer to that specific question. The more specific people are, the better the possibilities that they're going to get to your company as long as you filled out those filters and identified your geographic area and also specifically identified what products or services you provide or thought leadership you provide. So that's a lot of work, and it's something that does need to happen in terms of that, particularly with this. Now, in addition to those search results, you also have filters that are available now, and we're going to go into how those filters might work. But as far as the Google AI overviews go, so when they have those Google summaries, it kind of follows this flow chart that you can see. So the text generation, when people are asking via text, is one thing. If people are using smart speakers, then it's going to be via words, which are also keywords, right? But they're verbal, right? So then the results are going to need to be verbal. So we want to make sure that you're connecting those dots as well. So the query processing happens and you type it in, and then Google's going to go out and look for a document, a landing page, a blog, something that answers that question authentically and with credibility. So other people have to have said, this is great. I really like this article. This article has been helpful for me or whatever. So it's looking for thought leadership in terms of answering that question. And then it's going to go to fact checking, which can be thorough or not thorough, depending on the number of people that have responded to this or how many articles they have within their algorithm. And then Google's going to evaluate the credibility of those pages, the credibility of the people behind those pages or the companies behind those pages. And it's going to recommend the most credible based on the query as far as the information it can find or it's been able to find through its search. So know and understand there's not always people involved in going through that. There are some human automated evaluations that happen, people that have been hired to go out and correct, but not certainly for every search and not anything you can count on. So AI has changed shopping because what people are allowed to do now is filter out things that they want or filter in things they want. So if I want to get it today, I click on the get it today and it will only show me options that have same day shipping, right? Same day delivery. If it says, I'd like to learn more about my options as far as the reading materials, I'm going to go to adult or fiction or narrow that down. Let's say I'm doing a gift and I don't want to spend any more than $10. I can do the under $10 category and find the books that fall into this category based on what I was trying to find. You can do free, you could do nonfiction, online, best. These are all filters, and there's many more filters that are available for companies to fill in when they're identifying their product or service. Now, what that means is you got to take some time at the front end to add these filters to your listing. If you're selling your products on Amazon, fill out everything. Fill out everything, including the under $10 or $10 to $20 or whatever category of pricing it is, because that pays off when people do searches and say under $10 or click on that button. AI is also changing it in that people have a lot of different choices for, hey, if you're looking for this, you might need that. Notice that the top result on this one was a blog that they did at Gear Lab. So Gear Lab knows that if they put out blogs on how to use products, climbing products in this case, they've become a thought leader and Google Analytics likes them because they provide a lot of answers to people's questions. So they've written it in a way that when you're looking for answers, that those answers came up and they were strong and they gave a good result for the search engine optimization. So these blogs are definitely paying off for people that are writing them and making sure that they're answering them or writing the blogs in a way where it answers a common question, like where's the best climbing equipment? How can I find the best climbing equipment? Now, if I had said in Phoenix, Arizona, then I would end up maybe with a different result, which would be companies in Phoenix, Arizona, who seem to be experts in the best climbing equipment. So again, by them filling out that geographic information or the geofencing, they would end up with a good result. Notice on the left here, you've got more than just the under $10. You've got some range of prices. This can also be filled out when you're listing your products and what you're doing. So also which category it is. So going out and finding out the most common categories on Google that I can choose from to put my products in. If I never filled that information out because it wasn't available when I started my company, then I'm not going to be available in these filters because the information is not there. So going back to your products and services and making sure you've filled out all of this filter information will result in an increase of referrals to your website. So recognizing how people access the internet is important now because people are using smartphones a lot more. They are also still using laptops and desktops and other devices. When we get to the other devices, people are doing searches on game consoles. They're doing searches on TV streaming devices. They're doing searches on smartwatches and wristbands and any kind of a smart speaker device. So people that are using Alexa and say, hey, Alexa, where can I get my car fixed, within 5 miles of my house? That's how specific they are, right? If you didn't fill out your geofencing and it shows that you're within 5 miles of their house, you are not going to end up on that result. So this is why we really need to think about how people are using these other tools and thinking about how you can increase or improve the way that your company is presented through search engine optimization, where a lot of people think there's not much I can do. There actually is a lot that you can do to improve those results. I mean, part of it is just to start with a mobile responsive designed website. Some people created their website long ago and they have not made it mobile friendly. The problem with not making it mobile friendly is when people look at it, it doesn't look right. The resizing doesn't work. Maybe there's 3 words when it gets big enough to read, basically, across the whole thing. So you need to take a look and see how you're doing in terms of that. Also, your website needs to be multiple pages. Obviously, a lot of websites are way beyond this, but you need to at least have a contact us page. You need to have a support page so it looks and feels like you are there to support them and you have your frequently asked questions on use of your product or service spelled out. You want your homepage, which is your front door, about us, which talks about why it personalizes your company and maybe shows your journey, why your company is necessary in filling a niche in your area. And then the programs and services page or your products and services page is very important, but probably multiple pages based on those categories we just talked about. So it specifically drops information with your sitemap into those specific categories that people are looking for. So a support page, for instance, might break down into multiple things because you gotta have to ask yourself, what do we want to happen on our support page for a nonprofit? Number one, we want people to donate. Number two, we would like people to get on our mailing list so that we can get them to donate one day. And number three, we might want to highlight donors that we have so they can see the incentive for donating. Might also want volunteerism to be part of this. So design your page with those clicks that you want people to take. So making it very easy for them to connect based on what they're trying to achieve, as well as what you'd like to achieve with those pages. Each website page and blog content or landing page should be optimized for a keyword using search engine optimization tools. You can use Google search and autocomplete to get keyword ideas. So it will come up with ideas which come at the end of a search. Sometimes you'll see that. It'll say, would you also like to search? And it will suggest searching long tail searches as opposed to the short one that you start with, right? And it will expand it for small businesses, for tips and tricks. What are you looking for? And then people can select these and it changes the results of their search. So think about what yours look like and what your company should do in terms of being able to connect with those. Take a look at the search engine queries that come up or the suggestions that come up when you search for your product or service in your area and see if there's more information you should be listing on your website to tie in with those searches. So looking at that, Google related searches. So again, it suggests at the bottom of the page different searches. And then it'll give you also sources like Reddit or something that has some credibility within that category. So again, more specifically, so if you didn't do something like affordable search engine optimization for small business and people are looking for that, that's clearly a long tail search. It's suggesting because people ask for that, maybe you need to add the word affordability or some affordability explanations on your website so you also would be listed in that information. So smart speakers are something that a lot of people are using now. And again, because it's verbal, it's going to be keyword first. So you want to make sure that as you look at your company and your products and services, that you have an idea of how those smart speakers are doing for your company. If you don't have one, buy one. If you have one, test it and see where or if you show up and how you can expand that, maybe even through paid Google ads, right? Localize your business to appeal to people asking for services in your area. So making sure that your name and location or if you have multiple offices, where those are located, and each one being optimized for that specific region as a solution for that keyword. Also making sure your website performs well with those shorter load times helps a lot. Mobile optimization, so making sure your website is optimized for that. And you want to make sure that you've got any kind of information you need to add with that structured data within the backside of your website or the back end of your website, using those SEO tools and making sure that your website is using that as well. You want to help search engines and smart devices find your content, and that's one way to do it. And then you want to just evaluate the results of your looking into all of this and tweak it. Start looking at it again. Check yourself out through searches, but also check yourself out through mobile phones. Check yourself out through those smart speakers, and then evolve with that tech. See what you're missing. If you're utilizing chatbots, do they work also with smart speakers? Things like that are important as you move forward with what you're doing. So, what happens if someone visits your website now? We got them there, but they don't actually engage or buy something right away. Normally, they don't. Normally, they look at a few companies or a few products and service providers, and then they make their decision. So, the best thing to do at that point is to give them a reason to sign up or connect with you or download a guide or take an action on your website to let you know they are there, or they've been there. That gives you an opportunity to do what we call drip marketing. It also gives you an opportunity to utilize that connection information to reach out and advertise to them after they've visited, which we call retargeting. So you want to make sure you're doing enough to incentivize people to get in touch with you. This is called first party information, and it's the best. When you can reach out to a potential customer or past customer and they can reach out to you directly, you don't have to pay anybody for that lead. Plus, it builds the relationship between your company and that individual. If people are buying your products through Amazon or through some other third party, make sure you still give them a reason to sign up and get your information. That's what warranty programs are all about when you fill out a manufacturer's warranty, is they want a direct link to you. So make sure that you're creating that opportunity for a direct link to them. Then you want to utilize Google Ads to improve your search engine optimization, because sometimes you have to pay to play. And the reality is, it's really not that complicated. It's fairly easy to do. 49% of people click on text ads, and 75% of people believe paid search ads make it easier to find the information they're looking for. So they actually do trust those referrals. When you're creating your campaign, what I want you to do is have a landing page or a form or something that people fill out to get something from you. What they want to get is maybe a coupon, maybe it's a downloadable document, maybe it's a guide to do certain things, maybe it's just access to your videos or a blog that you've done that makes sense. When you push out that content through, let's say, a newsletter or something, and they click and claim that coupon or download that document, you have feedback, and you, more importantly, have something called engagement. Engagement means that person is paying attention to what you're talking about. Then your paid ads will help increase that traffic to your website. I want you to do all that we've talked about before this, before you do this. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't want you to waste any money on advertising. I want you to have already optimized your website, know that it loads quickly, know that it's doing a good result, and then pay money to get people there. Because that way you don't find out after you pay money that it's not doing that great job. You want to make sure the job is good, it's functional, it's working, and then pay to push people there. Your organic results are great and they're going to happen anyway, but this is to expand beyond the list of customers or potential customers you've already collected when we're trying to get more people like that. There's also birds of a feather advertising, so ways to get more people like your best customer. And in order to do that, we're going to need to do some buying of ads. And when we buy those ads, we want to make sure that we are making the most out of our advertising dollars. So again, making sure that your website works very well, making sure you've already gone through the search engine optimization tools I've discussed, and then being very clear about how to go beyond your list to buy access to and expand that, utilizing one of these types of advertising vehicles within Google and other tools that you could do as well. If you're business to business, you might prefer LinkedIn. You might prefer some other platform that's working well. It might be a social media platform that you want to purchase ads through. Either way, what you're trying to do is expand your list. You're trying to expand your reach and your list. And as you do that, you want to make sure that you're collecting that data so that you can do drip marketing campaigns, which are going to be much less expensive for you than if you have to reach out every time you're trying to expand your list. So looking at these different types of advertisements that you're doing, sorry, go back here. Okay, so different types of advertising that you might do. Businesses and organizations find pretty inexpensive success when they've created some of these ads. So if you had a daily budget of $15 and you're putting that out there as your paid ads, you're expecting a cost per click of 50 cents per click, and you've got a budget of $4.56 a month. So let's say that you're doing barbecue. The other one is for finding the right dog for you, so donations. And the other one might be for, in this case, some type of consulting service that you've got. And so the same budget, right? But different cost per click. And that is because there's more people bidding on it or fewer opportunities. And so Google's making you optimize in terms of making that payment. When you do that, though, keep in mind, what do I need to get out of this in order for it to be worth $4.56 a month, let's say? Right? So you got to figure out, well, how many successes do I need based on this budget that will pay off for me? And when you look at the numbers, sometimes it's very little. If you have an average order of $25, you need 19 customers. So does 456 get you there? Yes, probably. And if you go beyond that, you may get more customers, obviously, but you want it to at least pay for your budget over time, not initially, not on day one, but these are your goals. If you have an average adoption fee and it's $250, you only need 2 people in the case of the adoptions. So even though it's $456 a month, you break even at 2 people. If it's the consulting thing and you know what the expenses are, then you only need 1 client per month. So it makes it look a little bit more achievable when you're looking at that. Now, these may not be your budgets and you may think those are high, but it's just something to consider that sometimes that cost per click and that budget will save you a lot of time and connect you up with your kind of people, people that say yes to your value proposition faster than if you wait over time and don't put some money into it. So you want to save money on these. You want to target the right audience based on your location and your services. You want to set the budget at something that you can afford to repeat. And you want to get those results quickly. And if not, you want to look back at your campaign and see if you can improve it. Search advertising benchmarks in 2025, you can kind of see the click-through rate based on these different categories. So you can look on this list and see if your category is about that. You can see the cost per click has gone up from various things based again on those specific industries. Some are extremely competitive and it's more expensive. You can see the conversion rate, which is where clicks actually lead to somebody buying something. So you can see whether or not you fall into those categories now with your advertisements and the cost per lead. So if you're adding leads and you're doing lead ads, then you want to make sure that you're not overpaying for those leads. And it obviously depends on your business as to whether or not these are too expensive or not. At the end of the day, a marketing budget is a marketing budget. And if it's faster for you to do those paid ads once you've cleaned up your website and you have it search engine optimized, and that's paying off better, do more of it. If it's not paying off better, it's time to maybe rethink how you're presenting yourself or if there's a problem with your message or your product or services, and then try it again and see if it's paying off. It should pay off if it's done right. For every dollar spent on Google Ads, businesses earn $2 in revenue, so they should actually be more than just your breaking even. 40% of clicks go to the top 3 paid ads or the ones that AI connect you with now. 75% of local searches become in-store visits. So lots of times people search right before they go to the store. If you have a physical location, just know that those folks that are searching are coming to a store. If they see your ad, they're coming to your store. If they don't see your ad or you don't come up in search, they're going to someone else's. You want to generate leads that grow your email contacts, and those are those lead ads. So by having a landing page that promises them something, that gives them an incentive to fill it out, you're more likely to get a nice, credible email address or SMS text message address that you will be able to communicate with later and that will lead to a sale. So figuring out how those ads look and what your gimme is, what you're signing them up for. People aren't just going to sign up to get your email. They will sign up to get your tips, your tricks, your advice, your knowledge, or your ideas about designing their home or something, but they don't just sign up to get your email. So don't sell that on any of your lead ads. Make sure it's valuable, like a 30-minute consultation or a 15-minute consultation. When you make the ads, make sure you include links that take people to your website, to the right pages of your website for what they're looking for. You want to incorporate your phone number so they can reach out and talk to you. You want to feature your unique selling point, that which makes you better than the competition, those things that make you shine. And you want to end your ads with a call to action, a reason to call us or contact us right now, whether that's a discount coupon or it's, again, those tips and advice that people want or a downloadable information or a podcast. When you target and you're buying these ads, target the area that makes the most sense to you, only the area that you can sell in or service. If you say, oh, the United States is my territory, okay, let's start smaller than that because it's a very expensive way to buy ads, right? Once you've mastered your ads, the quality of your ads, the quality of your page, the quality of everything. Once you're seeing results in an area, you can always emulate it in a similar area. So you can look for a similar demographic profiling area and go to another area or category. When you're trying to be all things to people across 3,000 miles, you're not going to come up first, second, or third. Obviously, that's just a wide territory. So again, big fish, small pond, create that environment and then emulate it in other demographic cities or areas that are similar and see how that does first. It's a smarter way to spend your money. So looking and also seeing, did your ads come through? Did people actually click and buy something? Making sure that's tied in with your email marketing program or with your Salesforce program or with your e-commerce program, knowing that those clicks are leading to sales is confirmation you've got your formula right and you're ready to expand it. So thinking about or linking your ads accounts to your Google My Business page again will give you more statistics about how that goes. And making sure that's all tied in with your Google Analytics for your website pages will give you that feedback I'm looking for to help you focus on better ad results with that as well. So linking all of these accounts together, very important. Making sure you know which campaigns are paying off, which ones don't, and always trying to achieve a better result each month that you're doing this. Looking at different types of ads you can do within even the algorithm and the search and AI is making sure that you've provided enough information and options in these. So SERP it's called, but it's also integrated in the AI options when you're trying to do your own ads. Asking Google to create ads, I don't have a problem with, but create your own ads too, so that you can compare those results with it and make sure that it's tying into a better customer for you. So utilizing some of the SERP, you can do search ad formats that allow you to do 15 headlines, 4 descriptions, go beyond this now. A machine learning to test it or AI basically testing it and seeing which ones are delivering best. And then it will select the best combination you've got to deliver those ads more effectively and efficiently for you, and making sure that that search and browser information is tying in with the results where you're getting more sales, you're getting more direct leads, or you're getting more people into your database. So you want to use digital marketing with content that boosts your search engine optimization. And that has anything to do with videos or blogs or infographics if you create those, case studies where people are like, oh, or if you're in home improvement, maybe before after pictures. This is what it looked like before us. This is what it looks like after us. Aren't we awesome kind of thing? Thousand picture saves 1,000 words. So whenever you can do something like that that shows a makeover or a benefit to the person that's involved, it's going to be a better campaign. You can use ebooks, white papers, checklists, any kind of thing, a podcast, anything else that's content that you think people would like to get. And it helps you narrow the target market for those pieces of resource or content because a person that's interested in that is interested in your business. So measuring the success of that content, you might look at sales numbers, web traffic, different pages on your website or blog pages that are getting visited a lot, social engagement within your social media campaigns, lead generation. Are you getting more leads and are leads reliable? On-site engagement, search engine success. So are you getting more people visiting? And if they are they visiting the right pages of your website? Are you becoming an authority that AI is starting to point to within the realm of what your thought leadership is or your company specializes in? So at the end of the day, marketing is always about increasing word of mouth advertising. Why? Because word of mouth advertising is always successful because it means somebody has recommended me, somebody that somebody trusts, right? So you've already overcome that hurdle of trust. Now the word of mouth advertising is also social media because people are communicating via their social media. So when you connect with a new prospect and they visit your business or your website or your nonprofit website, you want to provide that wow experience so people can brag about you. Make sure you're checking in with your front desk and your sales team that you are wowing people and that people are happy. If you have complaints, deal with them, improve your service because that word of mouth online is really hard to overcome if it's negative, right? We want to make sure everything's positive and we're doing the best we can to get those positive referrals and responses and recommendations. You want to entice people who have connected with you for a sale or a potential sale and encourage them to follow you online and engage with you. And that's where your social media kicks in, is by them following you on social media, they can learn about new products or services that you're dropping over time. You want to drive that social visibility so that people are liking, commenting, responding to those things or filling out your chat bots. And then you want to increase that exposure by sharing that when you can and how you can, connecting up with those new prospects, friends of your fans, basically, who are asking questions about your products and services. And that then brings them back to your website. So this is the cycle that the marketing team is trying to achieve. Your online marketing goals, therefore, are to create a great experience, to entice people, to engage them, so to get them to click. We call it social proof when they like or they respond. That's social proof. And that makes your social media ads cheaper because you are a more reputable person or company. That means that they're going to price your ads accordingly because they'd rather have your ad than someone that has a bad reputation. You want to provide consistent answers to their questions. As I've made the argument, particularly with smart speakers and smartphones, people are asking questions verbally and they're making those long tail searches. Make sure your website has the answers to those questions, and that will help you in terms of that search engine optimization. And then you want to engage people to stay top of mind. That means you need to have follow-up or drip campaigns, something that comes across their phone, their website, their speaker ongoing that gets people to go, oh, yeah, I remember that company. We were going to call them last month. Maybe we should do it this month. Oh, look, here's an ad. Here's a coupon. Here's something, an incentive to do that this month versus next month. So right now we're in a market that's very competitive. And when you're trying to rise yourself above a competitive market, one of the best ways to do that is to stay top of mind. That means have enough exposure that people see you and remember you're there. A lot of companies that are not going to make it or not making it go away. And so consumers get a little confused about who's open, who's closed, who's still here in my neighborhood, who's still serving me. So it's important that you are getting across their platforms often enough that they know you're still there. And that is the job of the marketing team. So using those social media platforms to increase your search engine optimization, you can see the more popular platforms today, what people are using generally speaking. This is just the populace too, and this is US as well. So we want to just be keen on that and knowing and seeing what's getting used. We also want to think about driving that engagement on social media. So updating your profile, getting them to join your list. So having signups, having polls, having engagement happen continues to keep you across their they're following more than if you don't do anything and you let it stagnate. Sharing behind the scenes images, sharing stories about your employees and how wonderful they are makes you more like a company that they want to do business with. Using hashtags and tying it in with these images that are connected to your company is important. And then looking at those hashtags to see A, how big is the following, and B, how narrow can I do it? Because I'd much rather that they're doing searches for, in this case, shop small or shop small business, in the neighborhood. So adding the word, in your beach city or in Torrance, California, definitely helps with the hashtag, more likely to get to companies like you, and people that are in those areas will like looking that up and identifying with hashtags that are local. You want to engage with people. So if they respond, follow, like, do anything, share, you want to be able to engage with them and let them know. And, because you don't have all this time in the world, match your approach to the social channel that makes the most sense for your business, your customers, what social media platforms they use. Maybe there's something outside the social media platforms that they use. Ask them about that. Do they follow Reddit? Do they go to different search engines, or do they utilize different review sites? Something like that. The more you know, the better your time is spent, because wherever they are, that's where you want to be. You don't need to be everywhere, but you do need to be where your customers are, your past or potential customers are. So thinking about the type of social media platforms you're looking at, think about what you're competing with. Think about what people are looking for on there, and then make sure you're posting content that they can real connect with based on that. So utilizing the right platform with the right content. The top social channels for 2025, you can see, are listed here, but that's for a particular demographic profile. Make sure you're clear on your demographic profile. That's why I say ask your customers, because you need to know them. You need to know how old they are, a generalization about where they're at in life. Do they have small children? Do they have college students? Are they retired? The more you know, the better you can target them and put out content information and search engine optimization information that they're going to relate to. Word of mouth does happen online, so make sure that you're utilizing multiple channels. If you pick three, make sure that you're posting appropriately for each one of those. Don't try to do one post for all of them, because they don't all work the same. And again, engaging with those hashtags can increase the number of people that see that. Social media doesn't have to overwhelm you. You can pick the channels that make sense, one for primary maybe, and then drive people to your website from your social media. Again, I want your posts to lead people to a place that you own, your website pages. Modifying your post to suit the channel so that it's got the right things and you're using the right connectors or the right handles for different connections you're trying to do helps get a lot more response. And as you can see, the 48 comments down here, that's your social proof. That's something we want to make sure you're expanding on your social media. If you are taking the time to go to social media, you should be seeing an increase in your social proof. So don't waste time, and it's easy to do on social platforms. Support your mission. So think about, what am I trying to do? Actually have a goal that makes the most sense for what you're trying to achieve, and be specific about it. Are you doing an awareness campaign? Are you trying to drive action and get people to go to one specific place? Are you trying to get engagement where you're getting that social proof and all you want them to do is click on, I love it. So it's great. So know what your goals are when you set it up, and make it such that it's a post that I have to kind of interact with, that I want to interact with. Again, polls are really valuable. Do some polls. Then use digital ads as well as keyword ads when you're doing your media mix, so that you can get people to your landing pages. In this case, we're doing a campaign at a booth that clients got at a trade fair. And that trade fair, we have a list of the individuals that are entering that trade fair, so we can make sure that they see these display ads when they get to the show, and we drive them to the booth traffic at that show, right? So that's the way that you can integrate or media mix to make a lot of sense and buy smart ads that are reaching those individuals that are just the individuals who attend the shows. You want to localize and maximize that Google My Business page listing. As we discussed before, Google owns this. They want to point to their map. They want to point to their contact. You can add images, you can add video, you can add offers, you can add coupons. There's so much you can add to your pages now. Make sure you've gone and filled that out and that you've done the best you can with it. Again, the geographic location, if you identify the area you work in or the area that you service, you'll end up with more of those searches rather than searches all the way across the US or in Canada. You'll end up with search results that are within that area because you've already let them know you specialize in that region. And that gives you an advantage over the competition in that respect. You want to claim and maximize all your listings because that's where people are going to find resources. So if you have pages on Yelp or you've claimed your page on Yelp, update it. Make sure that information is there. Maybe Angie's List, maybe Open Table. Your social media pages are also pages for referrals and reviews. You want to make sure that you're having people refer or review you on these pages. So whenever possible, send to your list. Hey, thanks for doing business with us. We'd really appreciate your review on Yelp. We'd really appreciate your review on Facebook. We'd really appreciate your review on Google. Make that a campaign that your company is doing in order to improve your reputation online and also get more bodies and people to your website. So there's lots of different review sites that you might want to look at, that you might want to tie in based on your industry. Take a look at those and see, and look for others too, because it's again another landing page that will point to your website. And that's those backlinks we're talking about. You want to create search engine optimization rich content. One of the best ways to do that is to create a blog. When you're writing that blog, think of those frequently asked questions or what people call and ask on the phone, what people are looking for, or the questions that you uniquely know the answer to because you're an expert in the industry, right? And so create blogs or articles on LinkedIn that answer those questions so that it's written in a format of how do I get, more, how do I get more customers to come to my event? Then you'd want to make that the article, 10 ways to get more customers to your event. Try these, and that sort of thing so that people that are asking that question would go or be referred to that blog. So you want to lead with your content. You want to list the top questions you get from participants, volunteers, donors, customers, potential customers, reviewers. And then you want to create a calendar to regularly publish that content. So don't create one blog and think you're done. It should be a weekly or monthly blog that people are getting used to receiving and getting more information on. So again, making sure you're connected with what your customers, the people that follow your blog would be interested in. It all starts with those keywords too, because again, if it's a smart speaker or a smartphone, it's just going to be verbs. It's just going to be words that you're speaking into a speaker, right? So making sure that the keyword is in the topic of your blog and reinforced in the content of your blog, and your company name is associated with that blog to give you that reputation, recognition, and thought leader. Every one of your websites, depending on your platform, has search engine optimization tools. Make sure you've integrated them into your content. If you have a blog, make sure you're utilizing that and fill out categories, keywords, tags, anything that helps people find your content. If you haven't taken the time to do that, you're really not doing that great of a job to get more exposure on your website. So utilize these tools, buy the tools if you have to, make sure your web designer built them in, and see if you can improve the quality score, which is that top right score with the keywords. So once you've identified the keywords or the long tail search you're trying to maximize in that blog, it'll rate you and let you know how you're doing. 82 out of 100 is pretty darn good. If you're going to get a rating, rate it before you publish your blog. Make sure that the article is done in a way where you're going to get a good response. And you can use AI now to write some of these things, and then you can improve upon it. So getting these tools, some of the tools are available through your email marketing program. Some of them are available through your Salesforce and other things, but making sure you're increasing and improving that website visibility by integrating these SEO tools as well. You want to maximize your reach to share your content everywhere. So once you have that blog or that content or that ad, making sure that you've increased that exposure. Use all your link building strategies to do so. Okay. So forums, communities, Facebook groups, anything that you can create to bring people together that are similar, that are birds of a feather for your marketing prospects. That's what you want to do. So submitting your blogs to social media, to book marketing sites, to anywhere where they want content like LinkedIn, to submit your articles to blog directories, which are out there as well that you could do, creating documents like a PDF or a how to shop for this or that, or a guide is helpful, and having that be one way to get that you create as a landing page to collect an email address or a text message address so that you can connect first person, utilizing or answering questions. So there's lots of places like Query where you can go and answer questions. You can answer questions on LinkedIn that are common questions or being asked, or Quora or Yahoo. Go in and answer some of those. That sets you up as an expert, and people are then going to respond to that as well. And then submit your blogs to article submission sites and as well as press release sites to make sure you're really making the most of the time you took to make those blogs. As far as your smartphone goes, you want to definitely use social for awareness, those emails to deepen that relationship, and then the text messages like SMS texting, having people sign up to get your text. Just remember that with text messages, it needs to be more timely, something that is immediate, because that's what people are looking for. They don't want to get a daily text from you. They don't want to get even a weekly text from you unless you got something really big going on. They want to get urgent texts from you. They want to know what's going down. If it's the end of a sale and you got 3 days, that's something that they want to hear a text on. Your email and your social media should be dancing alongside of this. You're going to orchestrate your social media, email, SMS, and have them all reinforce some of what's going on at your company or for your products and services. That word of mouth is continuing online then, and you're pointing to various things that you're doing at your location. You're getting recommendations and referral sites. You want to use email to increase that SEO. There's different types of actions you want them to do, but just remember an email is basically a picture, a paragraph, and a call to action. And that call to action is the most important thing. So whatever action you want people to do, every email is a landing page, and you can share it on your social. There's two types of emails I want you to focus on. One is promotional and the other is non-promotional. The non-promotional one sets you up as an expert. The promotional one is giving people an opportunity to take advantage of a special offer. So using emails also to drive those reviews. The more reviews you get, the more referrals you get. Don't pay somebody and don't force somebody. When people write a nice review for you, thank them and use your email automation to get people to write reviews. With emails, keep it simple. Take advantage of the specials that are going on. Like right now, we've had 4th of July go by. The next holiday is going to be a Labor Day. There's other things that are going on in July and August that you might consider. Using holiday themed ones that give them a deadline is a great way to take advantage of it. And again, targeting people and asking for those referrals. Most people, 90%, ask companies to refer them or they use those reviews to find a business. If you don't have a lot of reviews, take the summer and try to focus on getting more reviews so that you can end up alongside of these other companies that might be exceeding your review site so they look more reputable. They may not have been around here as long as you, but if you haven't done the work to get those reviews, it's time to spend some time on that. So don't let negative reviews bother you either. If you get a negative review, take it as an opportunity to improve. Thank them for their feedback, get them offline, and then ask your staff, are we blowing it? Are we not doing this? Is there somewhere we could do better? And figure it out. The best result is to respond to those reviews and let them know you're doing something about it. And then take advantage of those reviews to generate more reviews by letting people know, look at this great review we got on whatever, so feature them. Let people see that your customers, past customers, and potential customers say wonderful things about you. Spend more time driving awareness. Provide your customer service and make sure you guys are dotting your T's and crossing your T's and dotting your I's and doing a great job for the customers that you have, and get customers to take action. So this month, we've got a lot of events coming up. If you're doing social media posts, try using some of these themes or hashtags that are tied to these themes. Use these deadlines. As I said, people respond to deadlines. So if you have something going on and let's say you're an ice cream store, National Ice Cream Days on the 20th, use that for your promotion. If you're deal with parents and you have a lot of parents and maybe you're a tutoring company, then do something for National Parents Day and make that an event day, a promotion day for you. Think about how you can improve. July, August, and September, you can do 40% of your annual sales within this period of quarter. Let's make sure that you try to do that, right? Improve from last quarter. Take a look at last quarter's results. See if you can get better. Today's presentation is brought to you by SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit organization. It's an arm of the SBA. Their services are free. So dial up SCORE and get a mentor because there's nobody going to do a better job for the price as SCORE will do to help point you in the direction of growing your business. They have ex-CEOs, CFOs, marketing people, different people, and they can get you a mentor within that category if you don't have funds to pay for some services. If you're interested in having us look at your business and give you some tips on how to improve it, we have a review that we do for $290. Gives you some time. We go online and we look at what you're doing and tell you ways to improve it. And if you need services, we can also provide you with service estimates, but you can also go elsewhere to get them. Also, today's presentation is also sponsored by Constant Contact. They've given us some information for giving you a discount. If you're interested in their services, you can use this link. And the coupon code is 330p if you wanted to save 30%. They have multiple services that they do within that category. My company is TaylorMade Advertising. I want to thank you for attending today's events. We've run out of time. Please take a minute and do at least a couple of these things to improve your search engine optimization. Thanks a lot for attending.